So the book 3, dialogue, chapter 3, covenant of the new. What page is that in the book?
In my book, it's 418, my version.
Right. Just for the reference. And 430 in the PDF. Okay. The covenant of the new. The covenant of the new is simply our agreement to proceed together with a palms through the path of Christ consciousness. Beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
Shall we? It is a path upon which joy triumphs over sorrow and victory triumphs over defeat. All that it requires is the acceptance of the new, I accept, and the denial of the old that will allow for the sustainability of Christ consciousness in form. Oh, I love that. Allow for the sustainability of Christ consciousness in form. My dear brothers and sisters in Christ, this is the call you have heard for as long as you can remember. The call you have heard as often as you have grown still and listened. It is the one beautiful note, the tolling of the bell of the Lord, your invitation to return home. This call has always sounded. It is not a death. What's knell? Death knell?
Like
The
the
peal of a
sound,
bell.
something like that, yeah.
Sound the peal of a bell.
Okay. Death knell, but a call to life. It is not of the past or the future, but of the eternal now. It is this, it is within you as we speak. The tone and the timbre, timbre
Yes.
of this dialogue. Maybe someone else will read now. Alison, do you know where we are, darling?
Yep.
Lovely
Thank you.
to see you, sweetheart.
Okay, I'll just go in order from you, Tol. So, Kim, you're next of you.
Oh, my, okay. It calls to you and asks you to invest your life with the very purpose you have always desired. You are not purposeless now. Your life is not meaningless. You are the ushers, the pioneers of the new. Your work, as will be often repeated, is to accept the new and deny or refuse to accept the old. Only in this way will the new triumph over the old. I have purposefully used words such as victory and triumph, words unusual to the body of this work, but words that will become usual in our normal conversation in this dialogue. I use them as I use together the words accept and deny. As the old must be denied for the new to come into being, the old must be vanquished in order for the truth to triumph over illusion. Hmm. Who would
Thanks.
like to go?
Yep. Alison, you next.
As the wholehearted, you have it within your ability to do what those who live their lives with a split mind could never do. You have it within your ability to mend the rift of duality. A state that was necessary for the learning of the separated self. But that is no longer necessary. The mending of the rift between heart and mind returned you to yourself.
Oh,
I think someone else has to read.
Sam, you ready to read?
Start in the middle of the paragraph, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the mending of the rift, I think, is it? Or in the same way.
Oh, okay. The mending of the rift of duality was accomplished in you when you joined mind and heart and returned to the oneness and unity of Christ consciousness. Sustaining Christ consciousness will accomplish the same thing in your world. Duality and contrast are synonymous. Duality and contrast are synonymous. In the time of the Holy Spirit, you learned through contrast. You learned from the contrast of good and evil, weak and strong, right and wrong. You learned from the contrast of love and fear, sickness and health, life and death. In this time of Christ, such learning is no longer necessary. And so these conditions of learning are no longer necessary. Thus, one of your first acts of acceptance is the acceptance of the end of the conditions of learning. This does not mean, however, that you accept goodness and deny evil, or even that you accept love and deny fear. How can this be? Our first action in understanding what we are called together to do is to begin to declassify all the various aspects of life that were needed in the time of learning. This is why we began quite truthfully and simply with the acceptance of the new and denial of the old. This is as far as acceptance and denial need go. For if you give credence to the ideas of contrast, you bring those ideas forward with you into the new. We let the old go, and with it, all ideas of contrast and opposites, of conflict and opposing forces. This is all that is needed for the new to triumph over the old. There are no battles needed, no victories hard won through might and struggle. This is what is meant by surrender. We achieve victory now through surrender, an active and total acceptance of what is given.
Let us talk again for a moment of the idea of giving and receiving as one that was introduced within a course of love and taught quite thoroughly in a treatise on unity and its recognition. Let's talk of this now as an idea rather than as something learned, and as an idea for you to carry forward with you into the new.
Oh,
Good job. Beautiful, huh? Mm.
This is the first of many ideas that were previously taught that I would like to talk of in a new way. These are ideas that address your true nature as a being existing in union, and this is why we call them ideas to carry forward. These are new ideas to you because you have recently learned them, and through the art of thought begun to integrate them into the elevated self of form. These are really not new ideas, however, but rather ideas of who you truly are birthed within the self of form, so that the self and the elevated self of form are able to work with ideas birthed from the same source. I feel really spacey this morning. Ruben, you're next.
I feel this.
Ideas of who you truly are, bearded by the wholehearted self in union with all, are the ideas that will allow new patterns to emerge and the design of the future to be created. These are the ideas that replace the learning concepts we leave behind. You will notice that all of these ideas have in common a quality of oneness. Oneness replaces duality or contrast. You will be seeking now for replacement for that which formerly ordered your life. That we will speak of these replacements. That giving and receiving are one in truth is best understood by taking away the idea of one who gives and one who receives. If all are one, such ideas make no sense. This will seem to make the idea of giving and receiving as one senseless as well. In a way, this is true. Giving and receiving as one is senseless in terms related to a shared consciousness. Giving and receiving as one is not senseless, however, when the shared consciousness is occupying form. I'm complete.
You are. Beautiful.
Back to you, Cole.
Back to me, eh? All ideas leave not their source. Thus giving and receiving this idea, as are all ideas that exist apart from form. Do you guys want to address this giving and receiving? Is everyone really clear how to actually be about it? Is that a no or yes?
Yes, for me.
Sometimes.
Now, this was such a key thing for me. I also want to share it. Are you guys open to this?
Yeah.
And I know I know I shared this many times, but it is a real art of. It really ties really well with the lesson 108 from A Course in Miracles, which is, what is it you want to get? Yeah, because receiving. Yeah, there is a receiving. Like, let's say what do you want to get? What would you like to have? Could be wholeness, So yeah, give me ideas. What is it that you would love, like above all else, or wholeheartedly desire? What do you want?
Peace.
Peace. Beautiful.
Peace.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Sam, what do you have?
What I would want? Huh?
Desire. What do you want?
Well, let me say just something practical. Well, let's say I want a new car.
New car. Okay. Great. Good. Good. Now we have a good view. And Trisha?
Acceptance.
Acceptance. Okay. And is everybody covered?
Yeah.
Kim, did you say?
Oh yeah, I had peace as well.
Peace as well. Okay. So as you can see, there's slightly different energies there. So one is actually physical, right? And one is and the rest is actually experiential, right? Because peace is not something like of form. So let's do Sam first, because he's the one who wants a new car. I want a new car too. One way of tackling that one, and it's just like it's gonna look almost like we're doing some kind of like a new age little thing, but stay with me because this is such a key thing, guys. So Sam, how would it make you feel if you just had that new car? Like if you already like had that new car now? What would be the actual feeling? But you have to feel that feeling. It has to go, like you have to feel it in your body. Like, what's the feeling? Like, oh God, my new car.
Happy.
Happy?
Yeah.
How happy would you be?
Very excited.
You're very excited. Now, feel that feeling. Feel that feeling.
Freedom.
You allow yourself to feel that feeling even more than you're feeling it now? Say yes.
Yes.
Yes, good. And even more?
Yes.
Good. Keep feeling it more.
Yes.
Feel it all the way down your toes.
Yes.
Yes, good. Look at him, right? Can you feel how you're leading up? Because what are you doing right now? You're giving it. You're giving us the experience you would desire, right? But as you give it, you have it more. Can you see the point? This is such a key thing. But if it's not felt, then it's not given. You know how Course in Miracles talks about extension, give your thoughts away, right? You got to give it by experiencing it.
Wow.
You see, that is such a key And it's quantum shift right there.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you allow yourself to feel that even more, Sam?
Wow. Say that again.
What about you allow yourself to feel it even more? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
You see, every
Yes.
time you feel it, you
Yes.
lead up. And that's the
Yes.
giving and receiving, because as you lead up, who is having it?
You.
First of all, you
are.
having it, but then you
Mm-hmm.
also radiate the joy, right?
Uh-huh.
And you might
Yes.
think, well, but I still want a car, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I would not worry about that so much, because if you keep doing
Uh-huh.
it, you will magnetize your desire to yourself, even in the physical realm, if that's what you desire, you see?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the
Yes.
day, and this is a real crucial thing, do you know, the minute you get the car, you know how you felt this really beautiful feeling? The minute you get
Yes.
that car, you will go, all right, I better insure it. I hope no one's gonna run into it. Hope no one's
Mm-hmm.
gonna scratch it. And now you forget to experience the maximum expression of the joy you're already experiencing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the downfall of this earthy kind of thing, because as soon as we have it, we don't actually sit
Mm-hmm.
there and go like, wow, wow,
Mm-hmm.
wow, right? We're going to worrying about it. And you miss that
Mm-hmm.
point. So you got to start learning how to enjoy everything already.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you want something physical. Now let's go into this one where we desire peace, okay? And maybe you could join us with that as well, because more of us do it together. I think everyone is on peace, right? Well, let's do peace, right? Now, in the chapter 10, in the first treatise, he addresses this peace, right? He says, this peace is already in you. The fact that you're not giving it, you feel like you don't have it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just very softly, just allow yourself to feel peaceful. So if you were totally at peace, how would that make you feel? See, this is the big difference of being in the mind and adding the feelings to your life. So your feelings can begin to birth to you what it is that you wholly desire. It's the will of God that will birth it for you, and it's in you. But if you don't give it, it's basically impotent. It's not doing anything. It just sits there as an unused gift that we're not using. So let's do it. So allow yourself to feel peace. You can even go, God, help me now. What is the peace of God? Show me now, like in this instant. And just notice a very subtle shift, because the answer is right there, but we often don't feel it. You with me? We often don't feel it, because feeling in this world is a really denied aspect of us. You know, you have a couple of tears and you go like, I'm sorry, right? You have a little bit of emotion happening. Oh, sorry, forgive me for this, right? So just allow yourself to feel the peace. Feel the peace of God. Imagine you already like completely at peace forever. See, that's already in you. Mere fact that you're not giving it or feeling it, you deprive yourself of this peace. When you don't do it, your mind begins to run crazy and you cannot feel at home. That's all to it. So allow yourself to feel peace, and now allow yourself to feel peace a bit more. Like feel the peace, feel it more. And actually, when I'm saying more, I'm not saying you force yourself to feel it more, but you actually is just stepping back and allowing what's already in you come forth more.
Mm.
Yes? Can you feel the difference? Yeah.
Mhm.
Allowing it more and more. And then say to everyone, I offer this peace. And think of some people specifically, particularly those that would receive it with joy. It's like, oh, thank you for bringing me this peace. I needed it. Right? And so you give it. So, like, I offer you my peace. Patricia, I offer you my peace. Yeah. You see, I like it smiled you a little bit. Yeah. That's that little tiny little glimpse of joy. It's like, oh, thank you. Because we're sharing it. You know, Kim, I offer you my peace. You see, it's like ding. How little is needed, right? Ruben,
Yeah.
I offer you my peace of God. You see, you cannot not receive it. But you know, the minute that smile comes back on, what's happening to me? I feel received by you. Now we are joining in something really beautiful. Same, my peace I offer you.
My peace I offer you.
Yeah, my peace I offer you. Thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I offer you even more of my peace.
Even more of my peace.
Yes. And so now, you see, we're just starting to give it more than we're used to now. We just sit here going like, hello, guys, well, let's read this book. Let's live it, because it has to be experiential. You can't just learn another book, right?
So this is like through prayer, is it, Cole?
Absolutely.
Because people like, oh yeah, they pray to give peace all around the world, but if they're not peaceful, they're not really giving anything, are they?
Bingo. They want the whole world to change so they can be at peace. That's why they're praying. Instead of being the peace themselves.
I was always suspicious of prayer. I could never really understand it, you know, but I think I do now.
Yes, you obviously do. Hey, Kevin, my peace I offer you, brother, wholeheartedly. It just leads people up. Let's do it to each other. Go. Kevin, you go first. Just name somebody on the screen and say, hey.
Hey, Kim, I offer you my peace.
See? It's contagious. The fastest transparent, right?
Yeah.
Go, someone else, Kev. Let's do it, guys. We got to do this.
Ruben, I offer you my peace.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Sam, I offer you my peace.
Patricia, offer you my peace.
Thank you.
Oh, I offer you my peace.
I soak it, darling. I soak it.
Wow.
We're entering into communion together.
Yeah.
You see, this is the Holy Communion, guys. There is, you know, you can freaking eat some biscuits or you can drink some wine, but this is the Holy Communion.
So if we did that silently with somebody standing in front of us, even though they're not aware of it,
absolutely,
they would receive that on some level, wouldn't they?
They will receive it on some level, and you know, you can get proficient at it.
Yes.
It's like you become so good at it that wherever you go, God goes with me wherever I go, and wherever I go, this is now happening. You know, a friend came last night, and we just went, all right, let's just feel some love. And boom, we were like two men sitting in this exquisite love presence, you know?
Yes.
And just sitting in it and having dinner in it and having, you know, setting up some microphones, and I'm doing some equipment, and we were recording stuff, and just like this constant God's presence, and we were just laughing and giggling, and we were rejoicing. We stayed in that all night, right? Stayed in that all night, like, And, even when he left, it was just like, peace goes with you, and it stays. Like I woke up in the morning, it's like, oh my God, what a beautiful evening,
Yes.
And my son was sitting here playing guitar to us, and we were like, it was an amazing evening, Yeah, so it happens everywhere. You will begin to draw, you'll begin to radiate, because as you give it, you have it. You become the radiant one.
Yes.
And it has to be action. Go, Sam. Go, Sam.
My favorite is in Course of Miracles, I think lesson 105, it says, my brother, peace and joy I offer you, that I may have God's peace and joy as mine.
Yes, exactly.
Can I have it as mine? I offer it so I can have it as mine.
That's it. But it has to be like, every time in A Course of Miracles, there's a capital something. That's wholesome experience. Guys, at one moment, you become one with your whole self. That includes your feeling self.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence is actually the biggest problem. Yeah? Because we are not feeling each other. We are all in a head talking, receiving information, and hopefully agreeing. But most of the time we disagree, and that tears us apart. That creates the separations. Like, oh, he thinks that. I can't join with this. But if we did, if we would just sit in silence and oozing at each other, like, you ooze at each other, what happens? This whole room becomes. Do you ever feel like you in this particular Zoom room, we're in one place, but you feel this sense of uniting? Yeah,
Yes.
just something comes over us. It's actually this part of us that is already there, begins to radiate. That's all to it. So, like, you can't birth the Christ without feeling the will, the mother within you, the great birther of creation. So let's do one more. What's another thing you would like to have besides peace? Actually, let me show you something very simple. So what do you do everything for? Like that car you want, at the end of it, it's just going to make you feel good, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right? The peace is going to make you feel good. Yeah? Actually, everything we do is to feel good. You come here, so you read some nice words, say what? You feel good. You go for a walk, so you feel what?
Good.
Feel good. You see friends because you get together, and you go out and do something you enjoy because what? You're going to feel good.
Yeah.
Now, how good, guys, are you at feeling good? Because everything you do is just to feel good. You eat to feel good, You make love to feel good. You read a book to feel good. You paint paintings because you want to feel good.
And that's really to feel God, isn't it?
Yes, that's where it comes from. Good God, right? Now, let's just feel good for no good reason. So could you allow yourself to feel good? Say yes.
Yes.
Good. And just feel good. And look how quickly it comes. Like suddenly you go like, actually, I'm feeling good. Now you're just getting a little glimpse. You're just getting a little glimpse like, oh, I can feel good. You should see what kids do when I do this at school with them. Say, hey, can you allow yourself to feel good? They go, yeah. And it's like, and it's like, I say it, can you allow it a bit more? Yeah. And it's like the joy that happens. I actually have to put a cap on it because the school would get upset, So.
Oh my God. It's like we just don't even give ourselves permission to feel good.
No, exactly. And then we chase everything. We chase cars and we chase this and we chase relationship. So hopefully we feel good. And all it brings us is some kind of tension. We make a whole world around this. So just now, watch this, guys. This is such a game changer. She says, allow yourself to feel good and practice feeling good, because that we don't practice it. Did anyone ever teach you just feel good for no good reason? Yeah. So let's do
That
it.
means you're crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know? They could like crucify you for this. Like, don't tell me it's this simple. It has to be more complicated. You have to read all the books in the library before you know something, you know? So you
Yeah,
get,
like I was at training the other day and I was just smiling and the other fellow says, "What are you smiling at?"
right.
You know? I said, I'm just smiling, you know. So then he has to calls me the Joker. Like, you know, he couldn't accept it. He couldn't just yeah, like he had to have a reason, you see, the same thing.
So now
Oh,
let's develop this feeling good feeling, okay? Let's see if we can go to the maximal expression. All expressions of love are maximal. So allow yourself to feel this feeling good even more. That's it. Beautiful, Patricia. I can see it written all over your face, right? That's it. That's it. That's a little enlightened face right there. Yeah. And allow that feeling even more. Yeah. And now lit up the whole room. Imagine that feeling going so big that it's coming out of your body as if.
Wow.
How to feel the whole room feel good. Just to simply feel good, no big deal. Like feeling good feeling. Yeah. Feel it even more. Got to keep saying, okay, yes, agree. Don't think about it. When you think about it, you're killing it. And allow it even more. Actually, allow it so much that it begins to get through the walls and windows and it goes out. Like expand, 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 and flood the whole Shire, expand it over the whole area you live in. And keep going. Imagine it's like a wave, like a tsunami of feeling good feeling. It's turning into from a small ripple into a massive feeling that keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. And then you give it to your whole country. You just keep giving it to the whole country you live in. And then keep going. Just keep going even more and even more. Hi, Annie. And even more. We're just feeling good for no good reason, darling. So allow yourself to feel good and just expand the feeling.
Thank you.
Feeling. Yes. See, she's already on it, guys. We're just
See, I knew I needed to be here. Thank you.
God goes with wherever I go. There we go. See, it's got to be applied. If you don't apply it, you know, it's like it's as good as a toolbox that you never use.
I've got to get a tissue, excuse me.
Yeah. And allow yourself to feel so good that it's as huge as the whole globe. Can you see how easy that is? Because it's just your mind. See, we are whole mind. Your mind is just expanding into its natural state where it encompasses everything. Now, we're going to take it even further. Imagine there are different civilizations out there, and we're expanding it to them too. It's like a little message from Earth. Hey, guys, this is what we've got in here. We just feel good for no good reason. We don't need a technology. We don't need this and that. We don't need to impress anybody. We just feel good for no good reason. So send the message out everywhere in the whole cosmos. So like, hey, eat this for brekkie. And allow it even more and allow it even more. And now keep giving it even to the space that has not been open, like open even more space. See, because more you give it, more who has it? You have it. You feel good. Right? now you begin to come to a place where you actually go like, wow, I don't need anything else. I'm already feeling good. So you stop chasing small things of this world to fulfill you.
Mm.
And I also want a new car, right?
Yes. Read on.
Right? So there. So this is the giving and receiving as one. Imagine this being your constant state. Right? So it's not, it's like for eternity. You almost enter the kingdom, because that's what it is. The kingdom of heaven, you think it's like, it just feels like this, except it doesn't stop. And anytime you feel a lack, you fulfill it by giving whatever the lack is. Mm.
I mean, I know this is true because we're experiencing it.
Exactly.
One, I forget. And two, there's a little voice that says, oh, this is too good to be true, you know?
To be true, exactly. So the mind comes in and destroys what you build.
Yes.
Destroys the kingdom, takes it away, you know? The ego rushes in to establish its impotence, right?
Yes. Ah.
And now
How about
now you think you don't have it, but really you just got like, first what comes in is the obstacle to peace, desire to get rid of it.
Yes.
So you're happy as Larry, and suddenly something, a tiny made idea creeps in, goes like, well, what about this? And off you go with that idea, and you build a whole world on it.
And that's merely a temptation, isn't it?
Yes, that's the temptation of Christ.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Ah.
Let it be the last temptation of Christ, yeah? Because once you see this temptation, you will go, oh, I'm not going to tempt myself to think other thoughts except just feeling peace and give it.
Yeah.
That's how you experience yourself as Christ.
Yes.
Now let's do Christ right now. Just allow yourself to feel Christ in you.
Oh.
That projection we have, we call Jesus. Imagine, what would that feel like in you? If you were Jesus, if you were Christ, how would that make you feel?
Christ-like.
Exactly. Now say, to everyone, I offer the Christ within.
I offer to everyone, I offer the Christ within.
Yeah. And I offer it to my children, and I offer it to my exes, and I offer it to my colleagues.
Oh, I offer it to my exes.
Yes, I know. Should have done that one last. And you're kind of like a betrayed.
But so in that way, it's like Christmas every moment, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be, guys.
Yeah.
That's if you like Christmas.
If you don't give it, you know my saying, if you don't give it, you choke on it.
What was that, Kevin?
I said, that's if you like Christmas.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's go back to reading then. Yeah, you guys get it?
Yeah.
Giving is receiving is a key thing. And you know what the best thing to do is that that's why Course in Miracles, you know how you said you lose it real quick. Well, that's what Course in Miracles do is like, do this every hour. Do this every 15 minutes. You got to train it. You got to retrain the patterns.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the old patterns will steal it again. Yeah, they steal the show. The past will creep in, grip you, and you will be preoccupied with past. And you lose what is happening right now.
Yeah.
The fact is, right now, if you're preoccupied with the past, you are giving that. And so you are receiving that.
Yes.
Right? There you go. So where are we in the text?
3:12, is it?
Yeah,
All
3:12.
ideas
So
lead
watch this. All ideas leave not their source. See, when you have these ideas, where are they? They groping in you.
Yeah.
As giving and receiving is an idea, as are all ideas that exist apart from form. Giving and receiving are thus one with the shared consciousness of unity, which is the same as saying giving and receiving are one in truth. And shared consciousness is the truth of who you are. See, you got to share it in that sense, right? The elevation of the personal self, however, requires that this giving and receiving is one as one be shared in form. See, you got to really feel it in your body. You feel it in your feet. You feel it in your legs. You feel it in your everywhere. Yet, the elevated form, which now represents the shared consciousness of the self, is not separate from the shared consciousness. Thus, giving and receiving as one is now the nature of the elevated self of form, and what we work towards through this dialogue is your full awareness of what this means, right? You've got to be fully aware of it, and you got to practice it, I'd say. Helping you to achieve full awareness of who you are is different than helping you to learn.
So when you're giving to someone, you're giving to yourself, right?
That's always.
And so give. I think the Course says to receive, give all to all, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's the same thing, right?
Same thing. Yes. And also know that you are being blessed from many different sources, because people are sitting and practicing love, and they think of you and go like, I offer you the peace of God. I offer you the love of God, right? Yeah. Helping you to achieve full awareness of who you are is different than helping you to learn. As was said before, you know what you need to know. You know what you need to know. What we seek is to achieve through this dialogue is acceptance and awareness of what you know. Acceptance is easily achieved through willingness. Oh, wow, that's cool. Acceptance is easily achieved through willingness. Are you willing to accept?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Full awareness in form of what has previously been hidden by the mist of illusion is more challenging task. See, that's that thing. It's like something will creep in. Giving and receiving as one has become one in form as well as one in idea. What this means, simply stated once again, is that the giving and receiving occur in unison or in union. Yeah? It's like if I have this idea that I'm just sending you blessing, somewhere you've already received it. And when it dawns on you, that's that joy that happens in you. It's like, oh, just shared with each other, you see? There is no time in which giving and receiving seem to be separate actions. There is no time in which giving and receiving is not occurring, because we're giving all the time, except sometimes we're just giving a lot of nonsense, and so we have it. Giving and receiving as one that simply describes the nature of the new, the nature of shared consciousness. How good is this? All right, who's next, Kev?
Kim.
Oh, okay.
15.
What might this mean to the elevated self of form? Using this dialogue as an example will serve to explain. This dialogue is continuous and ongoing. It is giving and receiving as one. It is merely represented by the words on this page, and the words on this page are but a representation of what is continuously being shared. So too is it with you. You, as the elevated self of form, are a continual representation of what is continuously being given and received, what is continuously being shared. Oh. You are a representation. I like reading that word more as like a representation.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of sounds better to me. You are a representation, for instance, of this dialogue. You are a representation of all of your brothers and sisters in Christ.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's sort of a bit big, isn't it?
Yes, because they all live in you, right? Where are all these people? They're not
Yeah.
out there. They're in you. You're thinking them within yourself. They are like internal pictures.
Yes.
Right?
You are a representation of the truth. You are a representation of all that is given and received in truth. You are a representation of creation, a representation of union. You are a representation of the self. Ooh. As the self, you are giver and receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself is a full participant in this dialogue. You as the self are the truth. You as the self are the creator and the created. You as the self are union itself. This is what awareness is about. Consciousness has to do with that of which you are aware. Right. I remember when I used to see Brother Charles, he would call it awareized consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good description, hey.
I remember.
To know what you now know and remain aware only of the reality of the separated self would not sustain Christ consciousness in form. In form. Right. So that's the elevated form, isn't it? With Christ consciousness in it and being aware of that. That's the elevated self form.
How you know you elevated is because you actually feel like you're buzzing.
Right, buzzing.
So anyway, it's at least my experience. When when you release something, let's say you forgive someone truly, you become elevated.
Yes.
Eventually the elevation becomes a constant. You just buzz.
Right.
You just feel good for no good reason, because you are designed to feel good for no good reason. We don't need to have a reason. The design, the creation is benevolent, it's loving.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like the core of your being is loving. And no matter what you think and who you think you are and all your ideas, your core is still loving. Every living being has a heart. You have it, and everyone else has it, whether they're aware of it or not. Right? Some people just not connected to the heart yet. So what, you're going to condemn them? No, you just go like, oh, sweetheart, he does have a heart, in that you forgive, right? Because he's your brother or sister.
But in that way, we help them to elevate, don't we?
Yes.
And then we elevate ourselves more. It's really...
By the end of the day, he lives in you or she lives in you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That idea, and you're like, it says in the Course of Miracles, beautiful thing, it says like, until there is one slave still walking on the earth, the something wasn't complete. Anybody remembers that line?
Mhm.
Well, that slave is like, you either see a slave or not. When you know see slaves as anyone, when you see everyone as Christ, you know, Jesus was a man who saw the face of Christ in all his brothers. So instead of seeing slaves, you just don't have the reference to a slave. You only have reference to Christ everywhere.
Mm.
And that's where the other practice is really important, where you begin to see, like right now, pick a person, and you can either see the person or you see the Christ. There is nothing else happening. You either see that or the other. When you see the other, that's how you see yourself. You know? And when you see the Christ in them, that's how you see yourself.
But you can only see the Christ in them from the Christ in yourself.
Exactly. So that's the thing that ignites in you that wholeness. And that's how you remember God. But you got to first forgive. So forgiveness is how? Well, I made a mistake. I see people, or I see, stuff, instead of seeing God everywhere.
I've always had a bit of a problem with this thing, and until last person is, like,
yes,
saved. I thought that's never going to happen.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Because you're hoping that your whole world, but it will happen.
But suddenly,
it.
But suddenly I've seen it differently. Oh,
yes,
it's not all the people out there. It's
that's it.
The ones in here.
That's it.
I never quite got that, like. Yeah, so, then it's possible, it's possible then if it's all within you. But if I see it as, the millions of people in the world, it's just like, forget it. Yeah. Yeah. It's really. Such a big thing to own, isn't it? You're it. You're the whole thing. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
And that you're it, and everyone's it. Everyone's the one.
Everyone is me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everyone's the one.
That's it. Yeah. Simple as that. Isn't that simple?
It's easy to remember this and feel this in this group, but as soon as there's a person in front of me that somehow triggers me, I forget. Oh my God, just forget straight away.
It's okay. It will just happen. It takes, we've done this for so long.
Yeah.
The whole world reflects to you just that condemnation, terror, all these madness.
Yeah.
And yet Christ is at hand. Like the second coming is you. Only you can be accomplished. And so, you don't try to save the world.
No.
You see the world differently, so you save yourself. Then you can be of help. Just like it says in What is Body? There's a beautiful thing that shocked me a few weeks ago when we read What is Body? And it says, like, if you are doing this to heal and you see your brother as holy, your body's holy.
Yes.
Now your body is holy. Right? Because you're coming with a different intent, and you will use it for the holiness until the usefulness of the body is done. See, it's beautiful. Like, it's just all make perfect sense.
Mm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yesterday I met a neighbour. She lives right across the hall from me, but we haven't really had much contact. There's something about her that oh, I just want to get away. But a few things happened. I ended up in her apartment. And then afterwards, oh, I just got this tremendous stomach ache. Like, what the hell? And I
Right.
knew it was something to do with this interaction I had with her. Because I feel she's the sort of personality, and obviously it's something I've not accepted in myself, where I feel a bit overrun and like
So what's
almost
the feeling there? What's the feeling she brings up in you?
Oh,
This is also really good to look at because sometimes we
yeah.
do have these challenges, but they're only reflecting something in us, something we don't relate well in ourselves. So what's that feeling?
I was being sort of overpowered,
Yeah.
and like I can't, everything happens so quickly. It's like a whirlwind, and I can't, and I'm just swept up in it, and I feel completely like just,
Mm-hmm. Just feel
bamboozled
that
or
feeling,
something.
feel the feeling, and imagine
Oh,
you don't have to explain the feeling. All you have to do is feel it, just like
yeah.
feeling good, and you send it to us so we can see how you feel. No, we're going
Oh,
to be affected by it. We're just going to feel how it is that it exists. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
oh,
That's it. You just allow yourself to feel it and notice what's your relationship to this feeling.
oh, jeez, I don't want to know it.
Yeah, you don't want to know it. So this is
Go
the
away.
this is part of your creation that you don't want to know about. So that part of you comes as a neighbor.
But yeah, this is the part that I need to,
Healing you.
yes, and then that's,
She will disappear.
yeah, yeah,
She will move
yeah.
out. When you no longer need that reflection, she will vanish from your existence or she won't bother you.
Yeah, or it'll just be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm,
All
yes.
right, guys, let's finish reading these things. So we're done with this chapter.
Thanks, Cole.
No worries, Alan.
Fantastic.
Where are we?
We're back to Sam. This is why I will often repeat.
Yes.
17.
Yes. Oh.
Who's reading?
Sam.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is why I will often repeat that I am no longer your teacher.
Mm.
You must realize your oneness with me and all that was created, and you cannot do so while you think of me as a teacher and yourself as a student.
Mm-hmm.
While you think of yourself as a learning being, you will still be looking to something of someone other than yourself.
Wow.
Rather than seeking the awareness that exists within.
There you go.
That's it. You can go home now. This is not meant to convey any division between the self and the elevated self of form, but it demonstrates that there is a difference in form between the self and the elevated self of form.
Oh.
The self was and will always remain more than the body. The body, however, is newly the self. The body is also, the body, however, is also newly the self. The body is also newly one body, one Christ.
Oh, so that would be, sorry, so that would be like the resurrected self.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're so elevated, you can't bear it. Bearable lightness of being. All right.
Do I continue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, sorry.
Sorry, I won't interrupt anymore.
It is this difference that exists between the self and the elevated self of form that makes of us creators of the new, because the elevated self of form is new. The self is eternal. Your self of elevated form is newly birthed, just as I was once newly birthed, even though myself was eternal. One of the major things we will be seeing as we proceed is the difference between form and content, and the difference in the same separated forms
In the way.
express content. Huh?
In the way, separated forms. Is that what you said? I thought you
Okay.
said something else.
Let me read that again. One of the major things we will be seeing as we proceed is the difference between form and content, and the difference in the way separated forms express content.
Oh, yes.
It will be challenging to become aware that different expressions do not make different.
Oh.
These differences were spoken of within this course as unique expressions of the self-same love that exists in all.
Oh.
I'll stop there.
Mm.
Okay. Me next. As the system of nature supports the life of many different trees, the trees are all still one life-giving and life-supporting system, still of one life-giving and life-supporting system. Can this be said of any, I can't read, Ruben?
Yes. Can this be said of any of the systems you have developed as a learning being? Are your systems life-giving and life-supporting? The patterns of the new will create only such life-giving and life-supporting system, as long as the patterns of the new are accepted and lived with your full awareness.
Oh.
Now, I realize that this is just the first step revealed, and that many of you will feel already as if you are being asked to learn again. And not only that, but as if I have presented you with a concept difficult to learn. What you need to remember now is that your separate self already learned this concept of giving and receiving, and that for the elevated self of form, it is simply a shared quality of oneness. It is not in need of learning or even understanding. It is awareness of what is. It's a quality of Christ consciousness. Thus, you are already aware of the truth of giving and receiving being one. This awareness exists within you, and you cannot any longer claim to be unaware of it through non-acceptance of what is. These are your ideas as well as mine. They are the ideas of your brothers and sisters as much as they are of God. I am teaching you nothing old, and nothing new. I am reminding you of what you know, as I have reminded you of your identity. What this portion of the dialogue attempts to do is to give you a language to support what you already know. and are already aware of, so that you are more comfortable with letting what you know serve you and your creation of the new. All that you need in order to create the new is available within you. The power of the universe is given and received constantly in support of that creation of the new. This is what creation is. The entire universe, the all of all, giving and receiving as one. This is our power, and our power is needed for the creation of the covenant of the new in this time of Christ. Wow.
Beautiful.
I receive and I give as I receive.
Yeah. I was gonna read you I can make a little teaser of what's coming next week. The new you. Check this out. And see, now that you know what to do, this covenant is a fulfillment of the agreement between you and God. The agreement is for you to be the new.
Yeah.
As you are new, so too is God. For you are one, if not the same. He's slowly suggesting, like, hey, there is no separation. There's not even you and God. It's just the sameness. As you are new, so too is the world. For you are one, if not the same, right? Because everything you think world is where? It's in you. As you are new, so are your brothers and sisters, for they too are one, if not the same. So, with that,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Don.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Be seeing you all very soon.
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
bye.
Thanks all.
Yeah.
See you soon.